G'day everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Fred from Clunie Garage here. It's getting close to the end of the holidays here, so we thought what better way to give you a video today on all the tracks we're going to do in 2021, all our racing plans, but more importantly, do a deep dive on all the race cars, all the mods that are coming. Stick with us, it's going to be a great episode.
She's the duck's guts.
Tell you what, it's hot today, getting up into the mid-30s here. Anyway, it's the start of a new year, 2021, and at the start of every year, we make ourselves lists, and that way we've got a target that we're going to hit and keep ourselves accountable. So on the channel, we've made two lists. We've made a list of the racetracks we're going to, and the times that we've already set and what we're going to beat, and we make a list on our mods. So let's have a talk about the first list, because that's all about the tracks we're going to go to, and you've probably seen us race around a bunch of those tracks already, but let's talk about each one and when they're happening. So this is a track that you've seen us race on many a time. This is Wakefield Park, just outside of Holden, and here we are in Black Betty, about to round up an MX-5, a Golf GTI, and it looks like it was a Datsun. They had an SR20 turbo in it, but we cleaned that one up too. Anyway, these are the tracks we're going to, and each of the race cars. So Clunie's, star of our channel. He's going to race Wakefield, Winton, and Luddenham. You probably won't put him on the go-kart track. That's Mark Webber circuit here in Canberra. Black Betty, already done a 114. We know it's done a heap quicker than that, but we didn't have telemetry. We're probably already up in the 110s there, we're thinking. But let's get a proper... Oh, geez, here's Frankie having a monumental off at the official at Wakefield. That was a moment. Anyway, Nuggetz is our Hyundai Getz. He's going to race at all three. And then the Tony Kart, we're going to give it a go at Wakefield. But it's mainly designed for the Mark Webber circuit. And, geez, Fred's been a bit sneaky here putting the S5 in. I doubt that's going to happen, but... if it doesn't get on a list, then it's not going to happen. So if you do a bit of a YouTube search, you can see plenty of footage at Wakefield, and you've seen all that over at our channel. We did 4 days this last year in 2020. Winton is a lot longer than Wakefield, probably up into the high minutes lap times. And Luddenham is just outside of Sydney, and that's a very technical track and more suited for little 4 bangers like the Nuggetz. But we're going to give that a go too. And you probably would have seen the guys on Mighty Car Mods and on Motive DVD, the YouTube channel. They go to Luddenham a couple of times, but it's probably not something that we'd take the VF on. But we'll give it a go anyway. Okay, second list is the mods. So let's do car by car. Let's start with Clunie. So Clunie's going to get the roll cage put in, which you've seen a video about. It's going to get the Sparko race seat, braided lines, which I'll show you, and then a fuel system. That'll come next, and then ... Whatever we break has to get fixed, so we'll have to wait and see. There's the roll cage. She's all bundled up, ready to go. So the car goes in on Friday. Today's Monday, and that's the earliest we could get it in the new year. But let's go have a look at Clunie. So this episode is about giving you really close-up, attention to all the race cars, so you get to see them. Normally you see them flying around a track. You don't get to get a good look and feel of them. So there's our Sparko. It's the same one as in the Getz. That is going in to Clunie. Clunie will only have one race seat. That'll be the driver's seat. It'll have a Sparko harness, 6-point, and they're our RPM rails and brackets that'll go in. And I'm leaving just these passenger rails in just in case we can't get the driver's side to work and we need to do some debauchery and that. So let's just wait and see. These are from Harrop. These are stainless steel, specifically made brake lines for the VF. And they're different to the VEs as well. So, yeah, we had the V8 Super Series ones made up for the VE. So these are designed for the VF, and they'll go in. And then we also have to roll the guards, because look what happened last time. So these are our Yokohama 295 semi-slicks. So we put these on Black Betty, and look at the damage to the sidewalls. So we don't want to repeat that in Clunie. So we're going to get our guards rolled when it goes into Gentech and get it done properly. And then we might even throw in different pads too. I've got some different high temperature pads that we might throw in as well. But for those of you that already know, Clunie has already got MCA Race Red suspension, coilovers, and it's also had all the diff cradle bushes done, and all the bushes are done. So literally, it's super, it's set up really well at the moment. 4 degrees of negative camber on the front, as you can see there, and 2 on the rear. So that should be perfect for Wakefield. And with this compound tyre and the coilovers, we'll be laughing. Not what the mods on the engine for Clunie, apart from the fuel system that'll come in. Everything's going really well. I mean, I could down the track go up to 110mm throttle body, but at the moment, when we're pushing the horsepower that we are with this supercharged LS7 7-litre, there's no point chasing more power until we can actually get this thing to hook up properly. So we are going to probably just keep the engine as it is. If anything, we might actually take a bit of power out of the tune. And that's for a couple of reasons. One is when we're first racing around Wakefield and getting everything dialed in, our injectors and our duty cycle, and because of the limitations of the fuel system, everything's at the max at the moment. So I just want to get a bit of danger out of the car, particularly as we just get used to it as well, because unleashing 650 odd rear wheel kilowatts on the track is going to be good fun. So that's what's happening with Clunie. It's nearly ready to go. Roll cage Friday. Keep an eye out. We'll do a whole episode when it comes back. Alright, this is the next star of the channel, Black Betty. There we are down the main street of Wakefield. And it's fair honking. That was at 170, 180. Look at that. Look at those brakes. Woohoo! Oh, the brakes are atrocious. Anyway, it's with no doubt the first mods for Clunie are some suspension. We've already done the brakes better than the ones you can see in the video there. I'm going to take you through what this repair means. Better slicks on the front all around, and then this beautiful looking 500 horsepower custom built engine that we're building. All right, let's go take a closer look at Black Betty. A bit of a story to Black Betty. Black Betty was picked up as a hail damaged car that couldn't be insured anymore. So it's a 2010 VESS ute, and we picked it up and we were really surprised that we've struck gold with the motor. It's an L98, so we missed out on the DOD dud lifters, and it's done 150,000 Ks, but it's an absolute Wednesday motor. So the mods that we've done, an OTR, we've got aftermarket headers in there. It's probably hard to see with the X-Force headers, which aren't my favourite. I'm more of a DeFilippo person, but we picked them up pretty cheap. Done an AC delete. Frankie's fitted a catch can. New radiator, because these radiator failures and the plastic top tanks are a notorious issue with the VEs. And apart from that, it's got a massive tune in it from Gentech, and we've really pushed the AFRs and gotten the most amount of power we can get out of this. It was 283 rear wheel kilowatts, which is pretty good. Not bad for a normally aspirated Commodore. And then you've seen to cover up the hail damage, we've done a matte black, pulled out all the dents we could, and then done a NASCAR-inspired Aussie Dale truck livery, which gets a lot of discussion points on it. I had one bloke on Facebook saying, that's not an Aussie Dale truck, it doesn't have a full tubular chassis, and where's all the number 3 stickers? And settle petal, it's how we've built it, so get over it. All right, let's take you through inside what we've done. So full carpet removal, we've done race seats, again going with the Sparkos, a little bit older model, these ones, picked them up secondhand. Pulled out a bit of weight in the middle of it, but the main thing was to get rid of the smell in the car and obviously get the fire retardant out of it. What else can I tell you? Oh, we've got new rotors on the front, DBA 4000s, and some pretty high spec Roto pads in it too. And let's talk about the damage, because that was embarrassing. So at our last track day, I was about to be let out, then I got pulled back, then I had to reverse, and it was hot and I had a helmet on and couldn't see anything. Anyway, I reversed back into the Armco at the marshalling area at Wakefield. Oh, what a debacle. Anyway, that's what I did. I pretty much severed the rear bar, but I hit the Armco in such a way that it cut straight through the bumper bar, grazed the side of the tailgate, and did very little damage at all. And given the fact that this is a rattle can paint job, it means that the repair is really easy too. So what did I do? I went to the wrecker and picked up a new bar. That was the first thing I did. Look at that. There's a bar. Clunie Garage paint and panel. Just navigate here. That's only got the first coat of matte black on it, so we'll keep going on that. But that was $100, so that was all right. So I didn't feel too bad about that. I'd have to apologise to Frankie though. But the rest of the damage was we had to just realign the tailgate here, which we've done. It actually hit just in here, so it grazed the side of the gate. But that's okay. We're just going to put a little bit of poop in there and sort that out. The main thing it did, as you can see, it's creased that. And that actually changed the geometry of this, this rear quarter section here. So we've just done a bit of butchery and hammered a few things out. That light now goes back in perfectly. Just got to clip the bar back in and you wouldn't know any difference. So if that happened to a road car, you're probably looking at, you know, maybe $4,000 or $5,000 of damage there. So I got out of that pretty good. So that was good. And look, it's a race car. Things are going to happen. You know, rubbing is racing. Rubbing an Armco is probably not racing, but that's all right. At least I've admitted to my mistakes. So when we put the Yokohamas on this little snot box here, Black Betty, it transformed the car. And because we did have the Nitto NT05s on it, and having that extra sticky tyre and the wider profile really helped the understeer. So we're thinking of going either some Yokohamas or maybe some Nankangs. We love Nankangs. But the main thing we've got to do is the coilovers, because we bought VF springs and shocks in this thing, and of course they don't fit. The springs fitted, the shocks don't. So we're still running the 150,000 kilometre shocks, and they are rooted, literally. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to get some coilovers. Big fan of coilovers, but we're not going to lash out and get MCAs. We're going to go with something like a BC Racing. We've heard a lot of good things about them, and that's in the spirit of the build. The build of this thing is performance-oriented, but cost-effective. So, and that way we're in tune with the rest of the car then. So, once we've done that, and the new motor goes in, that's pretty much Black Betty done. So let's have a quick look at the motor here. We're just going to pick out a camshaft. We're going to probably go with a Brian Tooley Stage 4 or Stage 5. Our heads are at Higgins at the moment. They'll come back. And we're probably thinking maybe in a couple of months this will be ready. And there's no hurry on it because there's other things to do first. And we're just doing it bit by bit, this engine build. But it's going to sound pretty lumpy, I suspect. Okay, Nuggetz, coilovers, sway bars, bushes. Notice how we haven't talked about the engine. And that's because this car's been built for Fred Jr. We don't want to intimidate him. We want him to get his driver's skill up to where it needs to be. So we're going to stick with the 1.4. And the 1.4 was chosen also so we can qualify for the Nugget Nationals. Has to be under a 1.5. And, you know, it's about 70 kilowatts and we're putting exhaust on it. We're not going to tune it. We're not going to put an airbox or anything like that. All we're going to do is make this thing like a Getz go-kart. So we started off with the Nankangs and the Yankee wheels. Next thing we're going to get is some DGR coilovers and redo the bushes and some sway bars and put a massive wheel alignment on it and get our camber somewhere in the -4 territory. And then little Fred Jr. will be howling around Winton, Wakefield and Luddenham. And this will be good fun. You know? And a lot of people think, you know, motorsport is expensive and all the rest of it. I bought this car for $2,000 off a grandma who was looking to get rid of it. She couldn't drive anymore. Local car, no rust, no dings. And if you're looking for a little car to get into motorsport or get your family into it, you probably wouldn't pick the Getz as a platform, but I reckon they're pretty cool. And it looks all right. And anyway, we're going to have a bit of fun. If we want to have something massive and horsepower and get our adrenaline, then we've got those two. And if you want to keep Mrs. Fred happy, you get that. So I copped a bit of heat on Facebook for my post about taking the Audi. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the words were over my dead body. So as much as I'd love to thrash this around and do a quick lap time, I don't think Mrs. Fred will let me back in the house. So it can remain a pipe dream and it's going to stay on the list just so I can keep looking at it and get myself into trouble. But that's all good. Okay, last little toy is the Tony Kart top-end rebuild, which has to happen after 12 months anyway, and then take the restrictor out. So I love my karting. You guys probably know that already. There's nothing that gives you a driver experience than this thing, apart from if you go probably Formula Ford or 3000. This thing is just, there's nothing like it. Absolutely nothing like it. Just so responsive. Seriously get your skills up in this. And it gives you just direct feedback. The smallest of inputs makes an impact. I was chasing lap times yesterday. I said to myself, there's 3 corners I want to fix up. So I'm going to race around the track 80% and fix those 3 corners up. And then I came in and I almost did a PB by doing that. So it's just, how cool is that? Just, you go and focus on little things and get all your technical bits right. Get your corner entries, your trail braking, and all the things that you really want to practice on the major track in something as wild as that. You can actually then have a go at just trialing those techniques on a smaller scale and then use the data, you know, and that's why this thing here is so cool, the Micron, because you can look at your telemetry and look at your lap times, download it all, and get a bit scientific about it. So that's pretty cool. So, and other than that, it's a 2-day, you know, investment normally to go to a track. You've got to get prepared, spend the whole day at the track and all the rest of it. I was out for an hour and a half the other day in that, which is pretty cool. And it gets you a little fix, and you can come home and clean everything and all the rest of it, and you haven't lost 2 days out of the calendar. Anyway, on that note, that's what we're going to cover today. 2021, it's going to be a huge year. We're going to start at Wakefield, and we'll probably start with Clunie. So I'm going to reach out to track school and try and lock in a day. But the first thing is on Friday, all these shenanigans get put in. And then stay tuned for the video when we do the new reveal of Clunie fully kitted out as a race car. Thanks for watching. Don't doof Dale, do it for Brocky. See you later.